The King's Avatar, Chapter 1422 Reversal. Audio source, WuXiaWorldAudiobook.com. Chapter 1422, Reversal. Translator, Gnome Yummy. Editor, Gnome Yummy. Hurry up and heal him. The health on Wei Chen's windward formation was about to hit zero. The viewers focused their eyes onto Wen Yi's little cold hands, hoping he would go over and rescue windward formation. Many of the viewers had felt touched, seeing Wei Chen's tenacity. They hadn't cared before, but now, they held their hopes for Happy. They didn't want to see Wei Chen, who worked so hard and ended up in such a sorry state, to fall just like that. If windward formation died here, wouldn't all of the preparation that Happy had laid out be pointless? Hurry! Everyone stared at Little Cold Hands attentively. Among them was Blue Rain's Yu Wenzhou. Hurry and come. He had the same thoughts. Swaxar continued to attack windward formation, but his gaze was in a different direction. Lu Hanwen's flowing cloud followed suit. He isn't able to get there. With the help from an omniscient view, the more skilled spectators could feel it. It's a trap. Li Yibo saw through it. He truly is Yu Wenzhou. To think he could still come up with a scheme in this situation. He's using windward formation as bait to lure Happy's little cold hands over. He wanted to pick them off. Li Yibo said. The camera quickly pulled out a bird's-eye view of the battle. The indicators on Little Cold Hands, Swaxar, Flowing Cloud, and windward formation suddenly became brighter. Swaxar and Flowing Cloud looked to be readying for the final killing blow on windward formation through a pincer attack. But at the same time, their pincer attack had locked onto Little Cold Hands. If Little Cold Hands went over to heal windward formation, he would be intercepted midway and trapped. With the enemy healer under their control, killing off windward formation would only take an instant. Afterwards, Happy would not only be down one person, but their healer would be in the enemy's hands as well. Happy would fall into a disadvantageous situation. All of this happened in a flash. Happy did not have a single second to spare, if they wanted to rescue Wei Chen's windward formation. The battle seemed to have frozen in this instant. What Blue Rain had predicted would happen, didn't happen. As a result, the slight pause from intentionally slowing their attacks became extremely obvious. Wei Chen was surprised at first, but after carefully paying attention to Swaxar's and Flowing Cloud's movements, he quickly figured it out. Ha! He laughed in the chat. Yu Wenzhou knew that once this moment had passed, his plan would be ruined. Their cunning old captain would certainly realize it. A warning's probably been sent out already? Who was to blame? Yu Wenzhou looked at Happy's motionless cleric. He knew that Happy's cleric was a rookie, and not a particularly talented one like Happy's other rookies. And Wen Yi was oftentimes viewed as Happy's weak point. But then again, Happy used their weak point as bait, and came up with several traps. This was Yishu's speciality. Using one's own weakness and turning it around to become the opponent's downfall. What about now? Could it be because this rookie cleric was too slow to react and failed to notice windward formation's situation, ruining Yu Wenzhou's carefully thought-out plan? If that was truly the reason, Yu Wenzhou could only sigh at his bad luck. A hole had appeared in his plans because his opponent's skill was too poor. What could he do? Knowing that this plan had failed, Yu Wenzhou had Swaxar attack. Lu Hanwen's Flowing Cloud also rushed forward and swung down, taking down the last bit of windward formation's health. Windward formation became the first player to be eliminated from the team competition. While stalling Blue Rain's two players, he had truly exhausted everything, including his character's life. Even now, there were still no signs of any sort of response from Happy's side. How could a healer be this bad? Countless viewers slammed their tables in anger and cursed. Many of the crowd members were extremely dissatisfied with Wen Yi as well. They had forgiven this rookie healer the whole way through and believed in him just like the rest of Team Happy. But now, he just did nothing as Wei Chen's efforts were wasted. Who could endure such an injustice? Is he stupid? Get down. Quit. And when he clearly didn't have any brain-dead fans who defended him no matter what. The fans loved or hated him depending on his performance. It was fine if you weren't skilled enough. No one disregarded the fact that he was a rookie. What they cared about more was his attitude, a proactive attitude. It wasn't even important if and when he could save windward formation or not. They were angry that he just sat there staring into space, as if he didn't know what was happening on the other side of the battle. It was okay if you failed, but you can't just do nothing. To the spectators, and when you was a person who did nothing, curses instantly filled the stadium. However, the match still went on. After killing windward formation, Swaksar and Flowing Cloud quickly rushed to join with the rest of the team. The two hadn't taken much damage. On the other side of the battle, it was now Happy's turn to be reckless. Suma Chung's Dancing Rain took the high grounds and tunneled onto Soul Speaker. Jung Zan wanted to protect his healer, so he started firing at Suma Chung. At this distance, his Spitfire bullet rain could reach her. The force from a burst grenade threw Dancing Rain off from the high grounds. However, Suma Chung quickly adjusted, landing Dancing Rain at another attack point. The home game advantage. In this exchange against Jung Zan, Suma Chung fully displayed her familiarity with this region. She didn't even need to look around to find a suitable attacking position. In the group arena, Jung Zan had beaten Suma Chung in the 1v1. He didn't lack the confidence in contesting against Suma Chung. However, in this team competition, while his target was Dancing Rain, Suma Chung's target was Soul Speaker. As a result, Jung Zan needed to consider both sides. It was just too much to think about. For a lazy person like Jung Zan, it was truly torture. He couldn't hold down Suma Chung's Dancing Rain. In the end, all of the misfortune fell onto Xu Jingxi. Soul Speaker ran around, but Suma Chung was always able to quickly catch him. If it was as simple as you chase I run, then Xu Jingxi could lure the opponents into the area where Blue Rain had originally planned on fighting Happy in. But the problem was that he could not leave because he had to heal his allies on Blue Rain. Huang Shaoxin's Troubling Rain was being pincered by Yi Shu and Feng Rui. While Xu Jingxi's Soul Speaker dodged Dancing Rain's attacks, he had to think of every possible way to keep Troubling Rain healthy. If this situation continued, Blue Rain's three players had no chances of winning. But now, this period had passed. Yu Wenzhou and Lu Hanwen joined the battle. The tides shifted once again. A curse arrow shot towards the high-up Dancing Rain. The Great Sword, Flame Shadow, cut into battle and danced alongside Ice Rain. You guys are finally here. Huang Shaoxin let out a sigh of relief. WuxiaWorldAudio.com. Xu Jingxi's Soul Speaker had been baited and then forced to heal afterwards, causing him to constantly consume mana. Now, Blue Rain had the 5v4, relieving him of some pressure. They could not let this opportunity go. Attack! Yu Wenzhou ordered. All of Blue Rain went on the offensive. Focus on restoring, avoid trading, increase their mana consumption. Yu Wenzhou pointed out the overall strategic direction. They had the numbers advantage, but Happy had used up much of their healer's mana. They need to fight carefully. If their healer went out of mana too early, their advantage would instantly crumble. Usually, teams would utilize their numbers advantage to launch an all-out attack and hopefully kill a target to widen the advantage before the other side's sixth player arrived. In the Glory Team competition, most victories were obtained in this way. However, it wasn't suitable for the current Blue Rain to launch an all-out attack because their healer did not have the mana to support such an endeavor. As a result, Yu Wenzhou emphasized that they wouldn't be going all out to kill an enemy player. They couldn't waste their numbers advantage though, so they need to carefully go about it. While killing an enemy player was the main objective, it could not be forced. Calm. Besides calmness, there was only calmness. Yu Wenzhou was always calm. Whether Team Blue Rain had the lead, was falling behind, or was in a difficult spot, he would never lose his cool. He would always search for the most reliable method to deal with the situation. It was through this foundation that allowed Huang Shaoxun to find an opportunity to wreak havoc on the battlefield. But soon afterwards, when Blue Rain attacked, they encountered an unexpected response. Attack. Yes, they went on the offensive, but Happy also went on the offensive. It was a 4v5, yet Happy was still attacking. It was a standard team competition situation, yet both teams responded in unconventional ways. The side with the numbers advantage played conservatively. The side with the numbers disadvantage played aggressively. The viewers were all dumbstruck. They had no idea how such a strange situation had come about. Only the pro-level players who were watching the match could feel the balance shifting when they saw this scene. Happy is the one in control. Wang Jieshi, Xiao Shichen, Zhang Xinjie. All of the top experts had the same thought, because this reverse situation had resulted from Blue Rain's healer using up too much mana. And everything had been set up by Happy. This current situation should be within Happy's plans. Wei Chen's windward formation hadn't been ignored by Happy's healer. Happy hadn't planned on saving windward formation in the first place. Wei Chen obtained victory no matter the means, included coldly sacrificing himself. Blue Rain's two generations of captains, a confrontation between the original owner and the successor of Swaxar. In the end, it was just a topic to talk about. This was a team competition, and what Wei Chen pursued was the team's victory and nothing more. End chapter.
The King's Avatar, Chapter 1423, Competing for First. Audio source, Wuxia-World-Audiobook.com. Chapter 1423, Competing for First. Translator, Nomyami. Editor, Nomyami. Attack. Both teams attacked. Blue Rain, with the numbers advantage, played defensively. Happy, with the numbers disadvantage, played aggressively. Is that fine? Is Happy looking to kill themselves? Quite a few people had their doubts. But when they looked at the situation more closely, they discovered that it might not be the case. Because of Blue Rain's tactical goal, Blue Rain looked increasingly uncomfortable facing Happy's aggression. Even if they had an extra player, Happy's reckless fighting negated the advantage. An extra player simply meant another target to attack, and wouldn't that mean more overall damage? In the meantime, Happy was relying on their healer to hold on. Trying to suppress Happy's offense through attacks would be even more difficult. Happy's team composition need to be taken into consideration. Fang Rui, the master of playing dirty. Su Mucheng, the long-range launcher. Yi Xiu, the all-class expert. He wasn't famous for his dirtiness, but his dirtiness wasn't to be underestimated. Did you think he didn't have a part in creating the dirty playstyle? Suppressing these three truly wasn't an easy task. Their reckless fighting was a huge burden on their healer. It required excellent judgment, fast reactions, and exceptional timing to keep up with them. And Wen Yi had talents but also weaknesses in these areas. Little Cold Hand's new equipment helped make up for it to a certain extent, but having him take control of such a chaotic battlefield would be worrying for Happy. However, the current situation was rather favorable for him. Happy had a total of 4 players. Su Mucheng's launcher was a long-range launcher. She wandered around the edges of the battlefield and didn't come into contact with the center of it, so she received very little damage. As a result, Wen Yi only need to take care of Lord Grim and Boundless Sea. Those two may be fighting recklessly, but since he didn't need to take care of the usual 4 players like in a typical team fight, the burden on him was drastically reduced. For Wen Yi, looking after 4 players was worrying, but he was plenty confident in taking care of just 2 players. What a wonderful detail! Li Yibo discovered this point and immediately gave praise. A team like Happy's was a blessing to the players. Even if you had weaknesses, the team could still make up for it and create a stage for you to perform brilliantly. Speaking of which, this was originally Team Blue Rain's specialty. Lee Yibo thought of this point. Yes, Team Blue Rain was a very player-inclusive team, a trait that gave them great flexibility. For most teams, when their important player left, they hoped to find a similar player with the same class and playstyle to fill in the gap, as to prevent the team's tactical system from breaking apart. But Blue Rain didn't cling on to this idea. After Yufeng left, everyone was wondering what Berserker player Blue Rain would find as a replacement. Instead, Blue Rain picked out a little Blade Master Demon and announced that this kid was their most important transfer of the season. In the following seasons, Blue Rain remained as the mighty Blue Rain. Many players performed well in Blue Rain, but after leaving the team, they appeared mediocre. Lin Feng, who left Blue Rain for Wind Howl, was one such example. As a rather peculiar battle thief, Lin Feng was a unique existence with quite a bit of fame in the Glory community. When discussing thieves, after Fang Rui was Lin Feng. Fang Rui had boldly chosen to change classes this season. Then, Lin Feng took his place in Wind Howl, inheriting the number 1 thief character, Doubtful Demon. Many people thought that he would reach new heights, and the title of number 1 thief would easily be his. They believed that interest in the battle thief playstyle would soar due to Lin Feng's new status. And the result? Despite having an all-star level character, Lin Feng's days in Wind Howl weren't as prosperous as many had expected. Let alone his performance on stage, just the numbers showed a considerable decrease compared to his time in Team Blue Rain, despite having a more powerful character. In the past, Lin Feng had drawn quite a bit of attention. After leaving Team Blue Rain, he took control of a more powerful character, yet instead of a meteoric rise, he sunk into mediocrity. Team Blue Rain was a team that could give each player a stage to shine on. But from the looks of it, Happy could do the same. Even a lesser skilled player like An Wenyi could become Happy's pillar of support. Perhaps in the beginning, Happy had been a newly formed grassroots team, so they had no other choice. But in the winter transfer season, Happy had the opportunity to find a better healer. At that time, Happy had an extraordinary win record, better than many teams, not just by a little bit. Happy had such a glaring weakness too. Numerous healers from mid-tier and low-tier teams raised their heads, hoping Happy would recruit them and let them join this rising dark horse. But Happy chose not to. From the start of the winter transfer window to the end, Happy showed no intentions of doing so. After the winter break, Happy presented a full set of new equipment for Little Cold Hands, showing their trust in their rookie healer. Afterwards, this rookie healer proved that Happy's trust in him was not unfounded. His performances gradually became steadier, and his role in the team gradually became clearer. The doubt towards him lessened day by day. In today's match, when Windwood formation fell without any sort of help from his healer, even the home team fans felt dissatisfied with him. But soon afterwards, as the battle progressed, everyone realized that all of this had been part of Happy's plan. When they saw An Wenyi, whose ability was often called into question, perfectly support Yi Shu and Fang Rui, they began to understand the reasoning behind Happy's arrangements. Perhaps it was somewhat cruel. If Windwood formation was still here, An Wenyi would have to split more of his attention to take care of him, and things might not go as smoothly for Happy. If the healer couldn't keep up, the healer's team would definitely be suppressed in a chaotic battle. This was an important note in this match. Blue Rain clearly had the numbers advantage, yet why were they feeling constrained? It was simple. It was because their healer could not keep up. Blue Rain's Paladin, Soul Speaker, need to conserve mana and could not support a full-on aggression. But under Happy's threat, it would not be good if Soul Speaker didn't take up more of a burden. Attack the healer. Yu Wenzu finally ordered, adjusting Blue Rain's strategy. Happy's healer might not be the best, but he was more than good enough to support two characters. And Wen Yi's mastery of timing and Little Cold Hand's critical heals were a big blow to Blue Rain's strategy. Zheng Xuan wasn't a spirited player in the first place. After shooting a few bullets, a holy light would shine and his target's health would go up instead of down. It was truly disheartening. This sort of trade isn't favorable for us. Because of Suma Chung's long range and the craftiness of Yishu and Fang Rui, Blue Rain's numbers advantage was stifled. At this moment, their only point of breakthrough was Happy's healer. He was the one supporting Happy. Directly attacking him would be more effective usage of Blue Rain's numbers advantage. Huang Shaoshan, the opportunist, had been ready to attack Happy's healer. When Yu Wenzu gave the order, he just happened to have found a good opportunity. He triple-slashed to open up a path, and Troubling Rain immediately made his way over. Crash. Lord Grimm's myriad manifestations umbrella instantly opened up in front of him, blocking his way. WuxaWorldAudio.com. Troubling Rain's sword did not fall. The second slash flashed out, moving horizontally across the umbrella. The half-step gave him a new angle, and he went for it with the triple slash. Dong. Lord Grimm's myriad manifestations umbrella moved across again, ready to block the triple slash. But Troubling Rain had already switched moves to guard against it. Wasn't that also an attack? Troubling Rain used guard, blocking the attack. The self-knockback from guard sent Troubling Rain outwards. Turn around, colliding stab. It was a berserker low-level skill, so Troubling Rain could obviously learn it. The damage wasn't important. It was a movement skill, so every player regarded it as an important skill to learn. Yishu's Lord Grimm had also learned this skill. It was a frequently used movement skill in his arsenal. In a trail of smoke, Troubling Rain dashed towards Little Cold Hands. The other members of Blue Rain had also seen Yu Wenzu's order and coordinated with Huang Shaoshan. Lu Hanwen's flowing cloud moved in front of Lord Grimm, stopping Lord Grimm from pursuing Troubling Rain. However, Yishu ignored the intercept. Lord Grimm leaped backwards and instantly rushed out with 3 movement skills. His target, Soul Speaker. Trade. Yishu's intentions once again surprised everyone. Is Happy planning on trading their healer for Blue Rains? Pan Lin cried out. This, I really don't understand. Quote, a rare moment from Li Yibo, who hadn't made any mistakes yet for this match. He directly acknowledged that he didn't understand Happy's intentions. Yes, who could understand it? Happy held the advantage despite the numbers disadvantage, and it was all because of their healer. Their healer had an abundance of mana, while their opponent's healer had used up a lot of mana. This difference had come from Happy's many setups, obtained from sacrificing Wei Chen's Windward formation. This should have been a key to victory. On the other hand, Blue Rain had their hands tied because of their healer. But with Happy having their healer as well, Blue Rain could not abandon their own healer. This situation was good for them though. Happy was unexpectedly not going to rescue their healer and instead attacking Blue Rains. Wasn't this trade beneficial to Blue Rain? By sacrificing Wei Chen, Happy gained the upper hand. It was a beautiful play from Happy. But this time, supposing that Happy completed this trade, it would be a beautiful win for Blue Rain. And this beautiful win for Blue Rain would come from Happy's own hands. Li Yibo wasn't the only one who couldn't understand it. Blue Rain didn't either. End chapter. The King's Avatar. Chapter 1424. The Healers of the Two Sides. Audio source WuxaWorld Audiobook.com. Chapter 1424. The Healers of the Two Sides. Translator, Nomyami. Editor, Nomyami. Wipe out Little Cold Hands. How would Happy respond to that? Yu Wenzhou had considered all sorts of possibilities, but the decision to give up on the healer had only surfaced for a mere moment. Under these circumstances, how could Happy abandon their healer? But that was exactly what happened. Happy didn't bother making any moves to protect Little Cold Hands. Ye Zhu started it and Fang Rui followed suit. Then, Su Mucheng, who had been continuously harassing Soul Speaker, began to focus her cannon fire as well. Blue Rain's members were all rather stunned. For a moment, they didn't know what to do. In the current situation, Happy shouldn't choose to abandon their healer. Everyone knew that, so how would Blue Rain not? They were the ones who could feel the pressure brought by the difference between the two healers. So when their captain told him to wipe out Happy's healer, they knew all too well the reasoning behind this. However, Happy instead chose to focus on Blue Rain's healer. They couldn't understand this decision at all. What was Happy scheming? Not just Blue Rain, but all the spectators couldn't help but think that way. After all, everyone was like as Li Yibo had said. They couldn't figure out what Happy was up to. There must be a deeper reason, right? If it was just a trade, then that was unreasonable. The spectators didn't understand. They could just joke around about it. Li Yibo didn't understand. He could yell about it in the broadcast. However, what about Yu Wenzhou? As Blue Rain's captain and their commander on the field, he couldn't make a decision blindly. However, right now, he had to, because there was no time for him to consider the situation slowly. Hesitation was already surfacing amongst Blue Rain's ranks, without a clear command to direct them. If they wanted to save their Soul Speaker, but also wanted to take down Little Cold Hands, they might end up with nothing accomplished and their efforts wasted. Then, they really would be on the track to losing. Was this hesitation something Happy purposefully tried to elicit? That was all Yu Wenzhou could come up with in the time he was given. His mind moved fast, but at a time like this he wanted nothing more than a skill that could stop time, pause the entire battlefield and let him contemplate their situation properly. But now, he had to take decisive action. Thus, Yu Wenzhou used his actions to direct his teammates. Swaxar raised his arm and pointed Curse of Destruction at Little Cold Hands, unleashing a curse. Understood. Blue Rain's members immediately understood, so no matter how hesitant they felt, they all went directly after Little Cold Hands. If they killed the cleric quick enough, then they might even be able to go back and rescue their Soul Speaker. Considering endurance, paladins had the advantage over clerics. After all, this was a class that could act as an mount. With their plate armor, plus their Holy Shield technique, Halo Smash, Life Activation, Extreme Survival, etc., or defensive skills, or skills that could help them endure. Otherwise, why would people say that paladins were more defensive? Zhu Jingshi was also keeping watch for Yu Wenzhou's decision. Their opponents were probably aiming for a trade, and what they wanted, naturally, was to see their opponent's healer wiped out while theirs was fine. So, this decision wasn't abandoning him, and Zhu Jingshi naturally couldn't just sit and watch. He had to be the most focused member on the field, because he would be facing off against 3 of Happy's members, and his goal was to survive through this attack, as long as he could. A Holy Shield technique first. Zhu Jingshi decided. Since healers weren't very good at movement, he didn't bother trying to avoid Happy's members and play hide-and-seek with them. He planned to play to the Paladin's talents and take every chance he could get to survive. However, after he made the actions to activate the technique, but Holy Shield technique didn't appear, he was silenced. Zhu Jingshi startled. This silence came from Little Cold Hand's Sacred Fire. And Wenyi, against an assault even more intense than the one Zhu Jingshi was facing, was still supporting Happy's offensive at a time like this. This time, it was a Sacred Fire. Next, was he going to send over a holy commandment or something? Blue Rain naturally wouldn't let An Wenyi have it so easy. Letting a Sacred Fire through was careless. No matter what the next skill was, they would interrupt it at once. Just this Sacred Fire was enough to prove Happy's determination. They didn't seem to be trying to play a trick or anything. They seemed to be completely focused on this trade between healers. At this point, even if they had made a mistake, even if they had missed something, they could only continue charging down the path they had chosen. Seeing Happy's determination, Yu Wenzu didn't waver, instead hardening his resolve. All-out offense. Both sides were putting everything they had into DPS. Neither team's healer bothered with trying to dodge, both doing their best to endure the assault head-on. Happy's Little Cold Hands had low defense, but An Wenyi was a master at grabbing opportunities. Even under this siege, he still managed to time a few instant cast heals for himself. Powerful, high crit rate heals instantly restored Little Cold Hand's health, almost like bringing himself back from the brink of death. As for Blue Rain's Soul Speaker, he had high defense and more health than Little Cold Hands. Though his self-protection methods had been interrupted by Little Cold Hand's Sacred Fire at first, messing up his rhythm, he still seemed more likely to survive than Little Cold Hands. But reality proved otherwise. Though Soul Speaker had more health than Little Cold Hands, he wasn't at 100%, only 71%. This was the effect of Su Muchung's harassment just now. In an all-out battle, no character would stay at 100%. For a good healer, keeping each character's health at a safe level within the control, that was enough. In addition, Zhu Jingshi has fell into an awkward position where his mana might not be enough, so he spent as little of it as possible. Thus Blue Rain's entire team was at a slightly lower health, including himself. However, in the blink of an eye, he had fallen into a situation where he had to use his health to endure. Zhu Jingshi regretted not casting a few more skills on himself. Who would win in this trade? Right now, no one was sure. Little Cold Hands had a weaker defense, and Blue Rain had a strong offense. Soul Speaker had less health, and while Happy might be down one player, they had more ways to provide buffs and debuffs. Lord Grimm's sword boundary increased all of Happy's strength and intelligence. Boundless Sea's pulse break lowered Soul Speaker's strength and intelligence. Dancing Rain's armor-piercing missile could destroy Soul Speaker's defense. What made things even more depressing for Zhu Jingshi was that just when he had found an opportunity to use life activation, Lord Grimm waved his hands and sprinkled some disperse powder onto him, removing the healing. It looks like the two sides are evenly matched. After a certain point, Li Yibo got a rough idea and carefully made a note. Yes, but I feel like Happy's attacks are more complete. Blue Rain's offense isn't perfect. Pan Lin said. They have some doubts in their heart. If it wasn't for these doubts, they wouldn't have let Little Cold Hands send out that sacred fire, Li Yibo said. They still wondering why Happy did what they did. Pan Lin said. Yes, even though they slowly strengthened their resolve, it still delayed them, Li Yibo said. Which side will be faster? Pan Lin raised the most concerning issue. No one will know until the end, Li Yibo said. This time, it wasn't that he didn't dare to guess, it was that he was certain this race wouldn't be as simple as just a contest of DPS. At the end, just before the final blow, the two sides would certainly try to stop the other. A trade was just something said. Any team would hope to kill the other side, while preserving their own. As a result, in the final moment, the two sides would definitely make one last-ditch effort to protect their side's healer. Li Yibo believed this with absolute certainty. Wuxia-World-Audio.com. It's almost time. Seeing that Little Cold Hands and Soul Speaker were about to hit 10% health, Li Yibo suddenly spoke out. Almost time. Pan Lin was confused. Pay attention to the final moments, Li Yibo said. The deciding moment. Pan Lin raised his voice to hype up the crowd. Sure enough, as Li Yibo predicted, a change occurred in the final moments. A grenade was suddenly thrown from Bullet Rain towards Happy's space. Boom. However, the grenade only flew halfway before exploding. There was no light, only a powerful pressure that appeared even stronger because of the sand. In an instant, a sandstorm formed. Burst grenade. Pan Lin shouted. If Zheng Xuan's sneaky burst grenade had landed in Happy's space, the entirety of Team Happy would be sent flying away, collapsing their encirclement on Soul Speaker. But Happy had been wary. Lord Grimm shot the grenade out of the air, successfully blocking it. He truly is Yi Xiu. Li Yibo praised from the bottom of his heart. Whether it was technique or situational awareness, he deserved praise for all of them. At this moment, Yu Wenzu's Swaksar was chanting a curse. Suddenly, a star seemed to twinkle in the cloud of sand stirred up by the burst grenade. It really was a star. Star refraction. A ray of light shot out. No one in Blue Rain had any methods to block it. The bonus skills attached to Lord Grimm's myriad manifestations umbrella seemed endless. He had never used this star refraction before. Star refraction hit all 4 members of Blue Rain. Although the level 1 star refraction dealt little damage and had no attack effects, Swaksar's casting had been interrupted. At the same time, a grenade rolled over. Star refraction was just to use up Blue Rain's methods. The true killing blow was this grenade. Burst grenade. Zheng Xuan instantly recognized the grenade, but it was too late for him to block it. Boom. Happy returned the favor with a burst grenade of their own. But because of this skill's low level, it wasn't as powerful as Bullet Rain's burst grenade. Even so, everyone in Blue Rain had been forced flying. Immortal guides the way. Huang Shaoshan's troubling rain was able to squeeze out this skill. Little Cold Hands was suddenly blown back together with Lu Hanwen's flowing cloud. End chapter.